Welcome to Wyoming Country Living, where the skies stretch wide, the porch is always open, and the critters just keep coming. We're Kim and Chris, empty nesters who traded East Coast hustle for the wild peace of Wyoming. Each week, we're tackling homestead projects, wrangling our growing animal crew, and learning to live the country life one adventure at a time. Be sure to hit that like button and follow along so you don't miss a moment. And stick around till the end for our front porch question of the week. We're saving you a seat. Okay, today I'm going to work on the carpet squares here in the closet. Then we will measure for baseboards and shelving and hopefully finish this up this weekend, maybe even tomorrow. So I watched a couple of videos on the best way to install these carpet squares, and I laid it out yesterday, but I have a super skinny spot here at the end, so I'm going to reposition because basically the video that I watched said you should do it so you have half of a length of a carpet square at the end. So that's what I'm going to readjust here and then start sticking them down. Okay, now looks pretty good. Under the steps there's a little sketch, but who cares because it's under the steps. So my understanding is that when I start securing these sides, and these corners, that I start with this one that I started with. So I also have this double-sided tape to use along the edges. So I've only bought 24 of these. I frankly don't know how many I have. But these corners go at each of the four corners. All right, I actually had exactly enough. So I'll use the double-sided where I only have two pieces. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe I'll just do these, see how it holds up. And if I need to, put those. All right, I'm going to start right here. So what I understand, this is called a floating floor because it's not going to attach to the floor. It's just going to attach these pieces to each other.
All right, it's New Year's Eve. I had to go take the new dog to the vet this morning and get Kim's tires rotated and some stuff. And while we were in town, we bought some more things, construction things. We got baseboard and door trim for inside the closet here. I'm going to try to get that put up here in the next hour or two. And then I guess we're going to go back to town and go to dinner for New Year's Eve. At least Kim and I are. Aiden might if he decides he's not sick. And we bought this shelf for over here. It's going to be a coat rack and a shelf while we were in town today. And we bought a portable shelf for over on that wall. And then we still need to buy the long shelves that are going to go on this back wall that we didn't get yet. So I guess we're going to do that tonight when we go to get dinner. And then tomorrow, if we get the baseboard and the door trim done tonight, tomorrow we'll get the shelves up. And I gotta go to work tomorrow afternoon, but while I'm at work, I guess Kim's planning on moving a bunch of her boxes in here. So maybe she'll be happy for 10 minutes or something because something's done before she needs to go. Well, I already know she wants to get the outside of this done too, so she can get her office area and her desk and everything. So first we're gonna put up this door trim. This is coax cable from, I don't know why it's still hanging here. The builders put it in. It runs up and across there and into the garage and out to the other side of the garage where it's also hanging there coiled because they decided, I guess, if you were going to put a satellite dish in, that's where it would be located mostly. So we don't have a satellite dish because we have fiber internet and everything's streaming now, and I don't need a satellite dish, so I guess I could just cut that off and get rid of it. But at the moment, it's still hanging there. I hope Kim appreciates I'm missing the Utah Bowl game of doing this. I am a Utah fan because my second son went there. And of all the places that my kids have gone, they're the ones that are most consistently half decent at football. So I wanted to watch, but they kind of screwed over Kyle Whittingham here. And he's not coaching this game since he's not a coach at Michigan. So I guess I'm okay not watching because I don't know, I'm boycotting, I guess. If anybody cares, I'm sure they did. I barely care. I can say that's why I'm not kickboxing. I'm not watching it right now. Measure here for the center. So on the existing doors that the builders built, you basically have these pieces on the sides, and then for the header piece, they have a thicker board, right, that extends beyond. And essentially all the building components of this house came from Menards. So I've looked at Menards 1,000 times, try to find whatever piece they're using for up here, and I cannot find it. It's thicker, so it sticks out farther. And it looks pretty good, but I've been unable to locate it or figure out what it is they used. So for the bedroom in there, I just used the same thing on every, on the top and on the sides, which I'm sure is fine because it's, again, inside a closet. On that one, I didn't extend it past here. I just made it flush, mostly because that door is right up against the corner, so there was nowhere to go that side anyway. So So now I'm just trying to decide if I should make this flush with the outside of these side pieces or if I should extend it a little bit. Since it's the same thickness as these, I think I'm just going to make it the same width so it all looks uniform. I'm going to run up and cut that, and then I'll be right back. All right, so we got this header piece cut. So we'll get that in, and then we'll start measuring for the baseboard pieces. All right. Obviously, it doesn't need to be filled and painted, but I don't know, it makes a big difference when you put the trim on. Right? It's kind of a little detail, but it definitely makes it look way more finished. So I have one piece of baseboard left over from the bedroom. I don't know what I bought, but I bought something weird. It's made out of some kind of composite material that's like black plastic or something with a white face on it. But I mean, they have it at Menards. But basically, whatever it is, when you cut it with a saw, it like melts. It just gets all this gummy crap all over your saw blade. And then the edges look like shit because it basically melts. So I did not buy that to do the rest of this, but we have one 8-foot piece left. So we're going to use it. And I'm just going to stick it back here in the corner. Right back down there where they look the same on the outside. But yeah, just put it back in the corner and then that should be good. So I can fit a couple full 8-foot people without having to cut anything. So I'm going to go grab some of those and tack them on, and then we'll measure what else we need. All right, so this is what I was talking about. This is a piece that's left. It's basically styrofoam, high density styrofoam. That's what it's made out of, with a little sheeting over it. But when you use a saw on it, it melts. So it's not a very good design, in my opinion. All right, so those are all the 8-foot pieces that we can put in. I'll just measure the last pieces here that need to be cut. I'll cut them and then come nail them all in. All right, so that was a pretty quick thing there. Obviously we need to, well, if this was not a basement closet, I don't know whether she's going to do it or not, right? We would caulk along here. This one is a little crappy looking because this was just like 98-inch wall, and I didn't want to cut a little 2-inch piece or whatever, so I just put an 8-foot piece there and ran the other ones to the corner, so there's a little gap on each side. But there's going to be coats hanging here and everything, so everybody's going to see that. But ideally, you'd caulk this gap between the wall and the top and the seams in between the pieces, and then paint them. But I don't know whether she's going to do that or not, since it's a basement storage closet. So out in the regular basement we would do it, but we'll see. So that's the end of the project for today, I believe. As I said, we're going to go to eat some red lobsters, as my son calls it, and get the rest of the shelves, and we'll put those up tomorrow. And then after that, we got some shiplap to put on the outside wall because she ended up not liking her mudding job. So on this L-shaped wall that's on the outside here, that's going to be her office area. We got some shiplap to put up there, so that'll be the next project. Okay, so it's still New Year's Eve, and I decided I got nothing better to do, so I started putting these shelves in. So we're going to put 3 shelves on this wall. I already started putting brackets up before I remembered that I didn't have a camera running. So we got the brackets up for the bottom shelf, starting the second row, and then we'll do the third row. So there we go. I basically marked all where all the studs are. I'm not putting a bracket on every stud because that would be a little crazy. We got these super heavy duty brackets and like 23.5-inch deep shelves that already weigh a good bit themselves. But so we bought like 20 brackets because I really didn't know how many we would need. But so basically I ended up going for the bottom row here, just put them as far, like basically 4 feet apart, or 3 feet apart, I guess, because that's how long our level is. And so I spaced them as far as I could get the level to make sure that they were level with each other. And we'll go with that. If for some reason we start loading them up and that doesn't seem like enough, well, I can come back and put some more brackets in between if we need to. My level is getting a little long in the tooth, and the bubbles are very cloudy and have a bunch of gunk in the windows, so it's a little bit difficult to see the bubbles sometimes. Do the best we can. I guess I should say I also put this shelf together before as well. So it's just from Lowe's Project Source shelf. It's built to fit those black and yellow totes. Obviously you can use other totes too. So apparently it's going to be Christmas decorations, the ones that are too fragile or temperature sensitive to go in the shipping container. At least in kids' estimation. Hopefully that's enough brackets. Not exactly sure what all she plans on storing on these shelves, but just in case it's heavy, we can add a few more, but if not, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 left that we can return back because they're like $11 a piece, I think. So be a little bit of money if we can return them. So now I'm torn because I kind of want to be done working for tonight. I also would just like to say that these shelves are done. But we basically got a bunch of 8-foot long shelves, which for the bottom here is almost just 2 of them. I have to cut a little bit off probably. And this middle one will need one and have to cut another one, and then up top I'll have to cut a couple in half. So I don't really, we got to use a table saw or a circular saw or something for that, and I don't really want to get all that out and mess with it tonight. So I might just go grab a couple of them and bring them in and just lay them in here and see how they're going to look. We'll cut the rest of them off. I did get one 6-foot one, so that goes on the top. Yeah, so I'm going to get like a 4-foot one. I'll have to cut one of the 8-footers in half and put a 4-foot one on that side or on that end. Might end up putting another bracket in the middle here on some of these. At least this one's probably all right. We might just get something to marry these two together. But this one at 8 feet is going to be kind of here. So we might put another bracket here just to support the end of the long one. And I knocked our light off the box here, so I'm gonna yeah, so I think since we have the brackets and the hardware, it's kind of a lot of shelf to be unsupported there. So let's put another one in. All right, so got those 3 shelves in. I'm not going to screw them onto the brackets yet because I want to get the other ends cut and put in there to make sure, just in case I need to wiggle anything around. But so I'm going to measure what I need those last 3 pieces to be and make a note of it. And then tomorrow morning I'm going to get up and cut those pieces and we'll put them on. But I've done enough for tonight. So we'll finish those 3 and then we'll hang up the wire shelf with the coat rod on this wall. And we'll be ready for Kim to start sorting through this giant pile of crap out here and decide what's going to come in here, what we can just get rid of because it's been sitting in these boxes for almost 2 years. And some of it for like 10 or 12 years because it's been moved multiple times and not opened. So she's finally coming around to the idea that not everything is a treasure and needs to be saved for all eternity. So hopefully we can clear some of this crap out. See you tomorrow. Okay, so next day. You can see Kim's already been busy at work stocking up the Christmas decoration shelf.
The fragile Christmas decorations and stuff that can't go in the shipping container.
Because it rocks around out there a lot, you know, on the high seas, and it might get broken.
No, it's temperature fluctuations.
So as I said, for these shelves here on this back wall last night, I need to cut pieces in. I discovered that we measured or counted wrong. And I have 2 8-foot pieces left, but I need like an almost 8-foot piece, like a 57-inch piece and a 50-inch piece. So that's not going to work out of 2 8-foot pieces. So I'm going to have to stop on my way to work and get another 6-foot piece that I can cut down. Luckily, we have like 5 of those $11 brackets left that I can return. And that'll be more than enough to pay for another board. In the meantime, I'm going to mount this wire, 6-foot wire shelf on this wall. It's going to have a rod on it for hanging coats and stuff. So I've already drawn a straight line-ish and marked where I'm going to drill holes for the brackets. Interestingly, the directions for the thing say put the first ones 2 inches in from each end and then 11 inches in between each other one, according to the diagram. And then if you look at the diagram, it says that the end one should be 3 inches from each end. So the only way that the maths is if you do it 3 inches from each end. So that's what I did. So don't always trust the directions at face value. Sometimes they're written by idiots. So as you may or may not know, these shelves come with these clips to put on the back to hook into. And they're all anchors. So you need to put them not in a stud because the anchors don't expand if you put them in a stud. And of course, the first hole I drilled on the corner here, even though 3 inches in from the end, went into a stud. So then drill another hole over a little bit. Just barely missed the edge of the stud on that one. So these little rubber caps on the ends of the shelves so that you don't stab yourself when working with it or reaching up to get stuff off. You get tetanus, although you'll never get tetanus from that. That's the myth. There's no tetanus in the United States. Tetanus comes from getting it out of the dirt where it lives, which is in Central Africa, not the United States. So it doesn't come from rusty nails, doesn't come from anything like that. So you've been lied to your whole life.
Oh my God, not a political channel.
It's not political, it's science.
So obviously with a new puppy, it's hard to accomplish tasks like this. So we repurposed one of the rooster containment areas outside, attached to one of the dog houses, so that the puppy could be outside, have a bigger area than her crate. and I put my pet cam to watch her, and she finally has settled out there, and we moved the cars so that Rip could see her and wouldn't worry about her. So now I can watch her on my camera and check on her and make sure that she's okay while we're getting some work done. So that rooster area, now that I'm sans 6 roosters, is being used for the new puppy.
And Rip has definitely claimed ownership of the puppy. He's thrilled to death to have somebody to play with. And anytime Sky or anybody else tries to play with her or mess with her, he puts himself in between them. So we hung some of these in the laundry room. I made the same mistake. These brackets on the bottom, you would think you'd put these anchors into the wall and then put the bracket, at least I would think. And then the brackets on them and then put the pins in. But the heads of the pins are smaller than the holes in the brackets, so that doesn't work very well. So what you actually have to do is put the brackets on and put the anchor through the bracket, and then put the pins in. Alright. So that shelf is up. Still need to put the rod on it to hang coats on. Alright, so I got a rod. We got these hooks that clip onto the shelf, and then it hangs down here. So this shelf is done. You can see Kim couldn't even wait for me to finish hanging the curtain rod before she started throwing crap up on top of it. Or not curtain rod, but closet rod. So we're going to be moving all these coats that are hanging out here on this temporary rack, and coats upstairs all over the place and in boxes. We have a lot of coats. They're going to move in here. All these clothes of Kim's that are in this funky thing here are going to eventually go in this closet back here. It's not a closet yet. But that's to keep the cats and the hair and stuff off them. The current setup there. So, all right, we're going to start going through this giant pile of shit and moving some of it in here. We won't bore you with those details. All right, so we got the bottom 2 shelves complete. Got those end pieces cut to length and installed. So those are complete. Good amount of storage there. I said the top one, I don't have a long enough piece left, so I need to go buy a 6-foot piece tonight or this afternoon and then cut it down, put it up there, and that one will be ready to go as well. We got this one up. We got some coats in here, but more coats to come. So progress is being made. All right, so this project is basically done, at least on the inside. So this is our closet under the stairs in the basement that we started last spring and then abandoned when it was time to do things outside. Now that it's winter again and Kim is going stir crazy and wants her basement living space cleaned up since she keeps getting more dogs and our upstairs is very small. She wants more room to move and be and put her stuff. So this closet is finished and it is mostly full. I just put that last piece of the top shelf on this morning after I had to go buy another piece of shelving last night.
but we got some weather sensitive, temperature sensitive Christmas decorations that she says can't go in the shipping container. We got winter coat storage, place for her cedar chest, and then just random other storage. Still a little bit of room. So this project is done. The next part is to finish this outside wall out here. Let's see, we got this shiplap that we're going to put on it. It's down here acclimating, and probably later today or tomorrow we're going to start putting that up. So that's going to cover this L-shaped wall here, and this is going to be Kim's office area. I'm going to put another light up here so that she can actually see when she's working. And then after that, either we're going to build out that little alcove into a clothes closet for Kim, or we're going to build out the bathroom, which is going to be right here. So my son, who's home from school for a month and in the bedroom that we built over there, would really like it to be this bathroom next. So he doesn't have to go upstairs every time he needs to go to the bathroom, but we'll see. So that's it for this week. Next week we will update you on the progress here, as well as have some announcements about some new things that we've got going on, including a couple new channels that I am launching, if anybody is interested. See you next week.